Today we will begin with the third and final stanza of the poem Ode to Autumn, written by John Keats. Where are the songs of spring? Aye, where are they? Think not of them, thou hast thy music too. While barred clouds bloom the soft dying day, and touch the stubble plains with rosy hue, then in a wailful choir the small gnats mourn among the river shallows, borne aloft, or sinking as the light wind lives or dies, and full-grown lambs loud bleat from hilly bourne. Hedge crickets sing, and now with treble soft the red-breast whistles from a garden croft, and gathering swallows twitter in the skies. Like the second stanza, the final stanza also begins with another rhetorical question, which means, where are your songs of spring? I can't hear you. This is the third phase of autumn season, when it is advancing towards the winter, so the spring is long gone. Spring is always pleasant, everybody wants spring, but it doesn't stick around. It has to be replaced by the autumn and then winter. However, the poet reassures autumn by saying that she has her own music. As we say that every individual has his own limitations and strengths, so even the autumn season has its own music, its own goodness. Barred clouds means patchy clouds. These clouds appear to be in bloom, like flowers, as they light up with the colors of sunset. The soft dying day. The day is dying at sunset, but it is not a tragic death. It's soft and gentle. The reddish color of the sunset light touch the fields gently. The fields have been harvested, so all that is left is a flat stubble of crop. Like when you get your head, moustache or beard shaved, what you find in the end is stubble. So similarly, all that is left in the field is a flat stubble of crop. Then in a wailful choir, the small gnats mourn. Gnats are the kind of insects that especially like to hang out in wet areas, near trees. And here we find them near the willow or sallow trees down by the river. These gnats generally come out at the evening time. Their choir sound is the collective buzzing of their tiny little wings. Borne aloft or sinking as the light wind lives or dies. The movement of these gnats appears to be coordinated with the light. Light gets brighter, gnats go up. Light gets dimmer, gnats go down. The poet is having all kinds of fun with movement and directions in this poem. Hence, the poet continues to paint the sunset as a life or death struggle for the light. This sound of the gnats contributes to the song of autumn. That's why the poet says, "Thou hast thy music too." Means autumn has its own music. Then the poet talks about some more animal sounds that contribute to the music of autumn season. And full-grown lambs loud bleat from hilly bourne. Lambs are bleating near the small stream or bourne. Bourne means that flows down a hill. Notice that the speaker calls them full-grown lambs, which is like saying full-grown child. Wouldn't that just be a sheep? So he seems to want to highlight the in-between stage between the glorious ripeness of youth and plain old adulthood. So this is the in-between stage. Not fully adult, but not actually being a child. An in-between stage. Hedge crickets sing, and now with treble soft, the red-breast whistles from a garden croft. Crickets are singing with a soft but high voice. Treble means pitch, voice. Garden croft means enclosed garden. The red-breast robin is whistling in an enclosed garden or garden croft. And gathering swallows twitter in the skies. Last but not the least, the swallows have taken to the sky and they twitter joyfully as the sun goes down. So here we have a bunch of images of different birds and beasts. All these contribute to the music of the autumn season. So in this final stanza, the speaker notes that the music of spring is a distant memory, but that autumn's music is also pretty cool. This music includes images of clouds and harvested fields at sunset, gnats flying around a river, lambs bleating, crickets singing, and birds whistling and twittering. All of the sights and sounds produce a veritable symphony of beauty. So this poem, Ode to Autumn, is an unconventional appreciation of the autumn season. It surprises the reader with the unusual idea that autumn is a season to rejoice. We generally consider spring as a season to rejoice, but here the poet has presented the season of autumn as a happy season. It is said again and again that the beauty lies in the beholder's eye. So it is up to us that how we consider the season of autumn to be. I hope you have understood the poem. For more comprehension, read this poem again and again.
That's it. Please like and share if the video proved useful to you. Also leave your opinions and queries in the comment box below. See you in our next video. Good day.